it speaks to like a greater issue in our sport as a whole.
I think this is something I have been having problems with.
I've put probably an unhealthy amount of pressure on myself. I want to win Player of the Year. I want a career Grand Slam. I definitely want to become the highest rated player of all time.
I think you just have to go with your gut, because when you're chasing some dreams, I think your gut is usually right.
It just gives me the confidence to know that I am good enough no matter who I'm playing with.
It would be the cherry on top to this incredible season I'm having so far. I mean, if I'm being open and honest, this week I've put probably an unhealthy amount of pressure on myself, just knowing that I won and I'm trying to defend, and I know I haven't played my best golf this year and I haven't been at the top of many of the leaderboards. So.
If you had asked me before Maple, could I get it done at Maple? That course does not set up well for me, and I had not played well there in the past. And so, asking me now at US, I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
We're always in pursuit of better. In everything we do, we're always trying to make it better, more challenging, more fair.
This course is all about choosing when and where to be aggressive.
It's just so important here to play angles and wind directions and, throw the higher percentage shot to keep it in bounds.
Stay away from OB, I guess. I feel like there's so many birdie opportunities here, so you have to be confident in your putting.
I don't think there's any spot where it's off limits, but there are spots where I'm not trying super hard to get a birdie.
I think it's stressful because it borderline feels birdie or die. However, you still have to execute high-level shots.
Kind of challenges all aspects of the sport: forehand, backhand, putting, touch.
I know this course is forehand friendly and my forehand's feeling well.
There's a lot of forehands, but you can definitely avoid them out there if you don't have one.
I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I don't feel like it's required that much off of the tee, but I do think that it's going to help with approach shots.
This course suits my game amazing. I have a very workable forehand when I need it. I throw a lot of forehands out here. I'd say just like playing to your strengths, I guess, playing your landing zones and not trying to bite off too much. I guess the past couple of years I've been taking like a more relaxed game plan and taking like a safer game plan. And I think last year I changed that and went into it saying I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to attack the eagle. I'm going to go for this birdie on hole 12 that I normally lay up. And sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't. But overall, I think it worked out for the better.
With how this course plays, I don't need to get unnecessarily aggressive because I can birdie every hole. There's even a couple spots where I can get an eagle. So it's just not worth risking a lot, giving up a lot of strokes. Like I feel like where I could maybe have my biggest pitfall is if I just give up a lot of strokes on a hole. So for me, there are a few spots where I just take my medicine or I play very conservatively, but that's only like a few spots.
Some of these basket locations, there's no room to play safe. So you have to be aggressive. If you miss by 20 feet long or 20 feet short, you're OB, left and right as well. So it's just some of the greens out here, you have to be aggressive and you have to be precise, or, big numbers can happen so easy.
Knowing, when to go for stuff, when to take my medicine, adjusting for we might have a little bit of wind on Thursday, and really just trying to keep it clean and be patient.
Low bogey rate. That's pretty much it. I think if my throwing is on, I can just make a decent amount of putts. I think I can consistently shoot 10 under here. I shot a 10 under yesterday while being 1 over through 4 and didn't really do anything special on the back half. I just played my game.
Stay focused. I think this is something I have been having problems with. Sometimes I just feel like I'm lacking focus. I don't know how or why or what's going on. Just developing solid game plan, following it, staying focused and just executing, and the rest is not in my hands anymore.
It's all feel for me. I never decide on a dangerous putt if I'm going to lay up or run until I step up to the lie. So, like hole 5, hole 18, if I'm 30, 35, 40, even 50 feet, it's just going to depend on feel, maybe a little bit of wind. If I step up there and I just know I'm going to knock it down, I don't care what's behind the basket, I'm running it. And then again, it could be a 30-footer, but if something just feels weird or, I start doubting myself mentally, I'm going to lay that up. And so, yeah, this year has been feeling great. Hopefully, that doesn't change in the next 2 weeks.
I mean, I've thought about that a lot. And even, this week during practice, going back to that hole. And yesterday I was doing my practice round and it was in late afternoon. So bright sunlight on that spot. You still can barely tell where that line is. And, last year at the time it was in the shade, really, really hard to tell. And, I've thought about that a lot. And I know like the people on my card have integrity. I don't think that they would have given me anything. So I think we made the best call that we could at the time. And I think it speaks to like a greater issue in our sport as a whole. Like those instances happen in every tournament multiple times. We kind of did what we would normally do in any other situation for any other player. It was just unfortunate that it ended up being a pretty decisive moment. Most of the public has kind of arrived at that like that's just kind of how the rules are. We did the best that we could. Since then I've not, done anything that would suggest that I'm trying to like, play the rules to myself in an unfair way. So I think most people are kind of over it. There's definitely a few people who are still mad about it, and you're not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to make everybody happy. So I've accepted it. I can live with it. That being said, I'm probably going to throw a backhand this year.
Yeah. We've gotten some criticism over the years, and understandably so, with some of the gimmicky type things. And so we're looking to find ways to create the challenge tweaks, but have it be as natural as it possibly can. And so that's what the trees and even the foundations that they're planted in are all about.
I'm repeating a lot of the shots that worked for me last year, but there are a couple spots where I've improved certain shots, and so I'll be doing something a little bit different that I think is just a higher percentage play.
I think a course like this, there are so many birdie opportunities, and I think this is like the epitome of execution is the key.
And like I'm known my practice rounds for throwing quite a bit of shots, but I always tell people that like I don't like to walk away from a hole not having thrown the right shot and thrown it right. Like I'll throw as many as I need to until I get it right, just so I can walk off the hole knowing I did that right. That's good. I'm done with that.
I think the Finns call it catching big fish, which essentially means taking a big number. And so that's kind of my goal. I'm going to be okay with single bogeys. Those aren't going to ruin my round or my tournament. If you have a mistake, they're going to happen. Just try not to let it compound. And I think it's fun. I think the challenge, both mentally and physically, is fun.
Because there are multiple spots where you can take massive numbers if you just choose to be aggressive at the wrong time. So I'm trying to keep my game plan as simple as possible.
Some new shots opened up, some shots lost, but overall my bag feels amazing. I think it's definitely been a reason I played so good this whole season, is keeping it simple.
It's been pretty similar. I did put some new rives in my bag just in case when the wind picks up.
Overall, though, my bag's very similar stability. I have all my overstable stuff. I have my water discs for 5 and 6 that I don't care about losing. So those are actually going to be clutch this week. Yeah, just overall, very, very similar bag. I think the mid-ranges are the only part I don't quite have the same. I have a little more overstable and a little flippier mid than I did last year.
I'm pretty similar, even with disc selection and form-wise. Maybe I'm not thrown quite as far in practice, but the tournament always kind of comes around. Like it was the same thing last year. But
I have no idea what's going on with the standings or how it is even calculated. I have no idea, so I'm not really thinking about it.
I don't know, and I also don't like the PDGA Player of the Year. I don't know if the Pro Tour has a Player of the Year still. We're kind of like, I don't know.
When it happens, it happens. When it doesn't, somebody else probably deserved it more. So I'm not really worried about it. I'm just trying to finish strong.
And I'm certainly keeping my eye on it. And if it comes down to, PDGA Player of the Year, and if I'm back by a few, I might be picking up a couple A tiers towards the end of the year, because I think that would also be just such a cool and amazing thing to have under my belt.
I want to win Player of the Year. I want a career Grand Slam, so to win every major at least once. I definitely want to become the highest rated player of all time. But 1057, nothing I ever thought I would reach. I mean, it's just kind of crazy to say, honestly, that I'm almost averaging 1060 golf. It's a testament to the work I've put in, using some new discs this year, just feeling confident about my game, having fun out there, taking every weekend seriously because I care about this sport so much.